Coming up, the prospective candidates for the vacant Sioux City School Board position get the chance to give statements during tonight's board meeting. Also, we get an update into the investigation of 4 murders in Laurel, Nebraska. And the war in Ukraine is going into its 6th month with no end in sight. News 4 at 10 starts now.
From KTIV, Siouxland's news channel, this is News 4 at 10.
The quest to fill a vacant school board position continued tonight at the Sioux City School Board meeting. Good evening, everyone. I'm Stella Daskalakis. Matt is off tonight. 7 candidates submitted letters of interest for the vacant school board member position. Those 7 candidates had the chance to address the school board at tonight's meeting. They spoke about the skills and qualifications they bring and why they want to be a board member. Each person had the chance to speak for 5 minutes, then answer any questions from current board members. The candidates spoke about their previous experience and qualifications while also addressing their goals as a board member.
I would like to make sure that we just focus on quality education and that we are able to cut out some of the red tape and get down to just some bare bones teaching critical thinking skills.
A big component for the school board is the search for a new superintendent. Current board members asked the candidates their thoughts on the most important quality for the new superintendent.
One of the most important things for me is authenticity. It's just someone who, every time, whether they're in front of a teacher, whether they're in front of an administrator, whether they're in front of a student, whoever they're in front of, they're who they are. They're real.
A special meeting will take place this Friday, August 26th, when current board members will vote to select the new board member. Their votes will be read publicly. The candidate who receives a majority of votes, 4 out of 6 votes, will win the position and will likely be sworn into the position on Friday. Members of the Sioux City City Council approve an airport master plan for the Sioux Gateway Airport. Along with today's approval, the council also will submit a grant application to the Federal Aviation Administration. The grant from the FAA would fund up to $900,000 of the plan. The total cost of the project would be more than $1 million. According to Mayor Bob Scott, parts of the plan may include increased capacity for the Iowa Air National Guard's 185th Air Refueling Wing, expansion of runways, and a final plan for what land is used for the airport.
And we haven't had a master plan of what we need to do to keep land available for the Air Guard, to keep the land available for any economic development, and where the different facilities should go. And so it's just kind of time that we do another one. It's been over 20 years since we've done one.
Council members also approved the use of a $7 million grant for the Siouxland Regional Trail System project. The Sioux City Parks and Recreation Department applied for the designation Iowa Outdoor Recreation Grant to support its trail system.
There's been a lot of talk and a lot of community coming together to try to do a trail from basically Sergeant Bluff all the way to Lamar's, and that's never going to happen without some sort of major grant. So fortunately, we had the largest grant in that process, so that was good news.
Now that the grant is approved, Parks and Recreation will start looking for designers and those who can construct the trails. All projects must be completed by September 30th, 2026. New details are being revealed about the quadruple murder investigation in Laurel, Nebraska. KTIV's Matt Hoffman tells us more about what he is uncovering in search warrants.
We're now getting a glimpse into how police are conducting their investigation into Jason Jones, who's suspected of a quadruple homicide. Search warrants show the suspect's wife, Carrie Jones, had her phone seized and her car searched, all while police also seized physical evidence, including multiple firearms.
Take a look at part of this search warrant affidavit. It shows that the Laurel Police Department chief went to the home of Jason and Carrie Jones on the day of the alleged murders. During that initial contact, Carrie Jones admitted to running over to the first crime scene before later running back home. Jason Jones was arrested the next day after police tied gas station receipts and a firearm purchase history to him. A separate search warrant shows police are also honing in on digital evidence. Court records show they've obtained a warrant for Carrie Jones's phone and any other data owned by Google in the neighborhood during the day of the incident.
In a court filing, police argued a list of active devices in the area on the day of the incident will help them obtain data about the alleged crime. Police say they'll remove any data from non-relevant devices that might be captured in the wider search. Matt Hoffman, KTIV News 4.
If you need more information about the case in Laurel, you can find several stories on our website, ktiv.com. A Sioux City woman who defrauded the United States government was sentenced Friday to federal prison. 45-year-old Margaret Ortega of Sioux City pleaded guilty to the theft of government funds on March 14th of this year. In a plea agreement, Ortega admitted she embezzled and stole more than $92,000 from the United States Social Security Administration. Ortega concealed her living arrangements with her husband, Hassan Ortega, by providing false statements to the SSA and the Iowa Department of Human Services. Ortega was sentenced to 4 months in prison and was ordered to pay more than $115,000 in restitution. She must also serve a 2-year term of supervised release after the prison term. It is getting warm and humid again after some cooler mornings. Tonight we take a look through the Norfolk cam. Storm Team 4 Chief Meteorologist Ron Mars is here with a first look at the forecast. And so how hot is it going to get?
Yeah, well, forget about the heat. How about these mornings in the 50s? They've been kind of nice over the past couple of mornings, but you're absolutely right. It is going to get a little bit warmer, especially heading into tomorrow when some of us will be topping out in the 90s, it is looking like. In the meantime, these lows in the 50s have led to some patchy areas of fog from time to time over the past couple of mornings. This morning, this is our Wayne cam. You can see way out in the distance just a little bit of fog sitting out there, but there were some localized areas that got pretty dense. But boy, in Wayne, it turned into a very pretty sunrise, didn't it? Nice little time lapse showing up there on our Wayne cam from earlier on today. Those lows, though, again, at that time, were going into the 50s. Got down to 57, in fact, here in Sioux City. But now here's the current view. A lot of us under mostly clear skies, like on our Spencer cam, and current temperatures are hovering very close to 70 for a lot of us, although Carroll all the way down to 63 degrees there. Wayne sitting at 70 right now, and dew points, they have come up a little bit today. They have been in the low to mid 60s. In fact, for a while, we even got into the upper 60s. Yes, school begins in Sioux City for the public schools tomorrow anyway, and it's going to be a pleasant morning out there. Under partly cloudy sky, temperatures will be around 64 degrees to start things off, and kind of warm by the afternoon. A mid-afternoon temperature around 89 degrees. Now, much more about that warmer forecast coming up very soon.
Thank you, Ron. Dr. Anthony Fauci plans to step down in December. Dr. Fauci says he is moving on after serving as the director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases and chief medical advisor to President Joe Biden. Fauci has served as the Institute's director for 38 years under 7 presidents. He has advised the White House on a range of infectious diseases, including HIV/AIDS, West Nile, the anthrax attacks, Ebola, Zika, COVID-19, and monkeypox. Former President George W. Bush awarded Fauci the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2008. The Food and Drug Administration has approved the Novavax COVID-19 vaccine for children 12 to 17 years old. The news comes after the company was granted an emergency use authorization in July for its 2-dose vaccine to be administered to adults older than 18. Novavax was one of the original participants in the U.S. government's race to develop a COVID vaccine in 2020. The drug maker received nearly $2 billion in taxpayer funds from Operation Warp Speed. The Novavax vaccine could potentially appeal to unvaccinated people who would prefer a shot that is not based on the messenger RNA technology used by Pfizer and Moderna. Former President Donald Trump has filed a lawsuit over the search of his Mar-a-Lago estate 2 weeks ago. The motion filed today asks a judge to appoint a special master to review the materials seized by the government. It argues they were taken under an overboard warrant. The court filing also asks for materials not covered by the scope of the search warrant to be returned. The judge who signed off on the search of Mar-a-Lago reiterated today there was probable cause evidence of multiple federal crimes would be found. After a car bombing in Moscow, Russia accused Ukraine's secret services of killing a daughter of a Russian ultranationalist who is Vladimir Putin's ally. The news comes as the brutal war that was launched by Russia is nearing a grim 6-month mark. NBC's Megan Fitzgerald has our report from Ukraine.
We're here in Borodyanka, where we watched as another Ukrainian soldier was laid to rest after being killed while fighting in this war. This comes on a somber start to the day when there is news out of Moscow, where one of President Putin's close allies, the daughter of his close ally, was killed in a car. Investigators say a bomb was strapped and detonated not far from the Kremlin. This attack certainly rattling Russian elites. Russian state media now reporting that they believe that it was Ukraine special services that were behind this attack, Ukraine denying those allegations. Meanwhile, Ukraine is bracing for a potential attack as they head into their Independence Day on Wednesday, which happens to be the 6-month anniversary of this war. We talked to a member of parliament here in Ukraine who says they don't have intelligence to suggest that a massive attack is coming. But look, they're not taking any chances. They are telling people in Kyiv to not do any mass gatherings. And for those who live in the east, for example, like Kharkiv, they're being told to stay inside starting tonight into Thursday morning. Megan Fitzgerald, NBC News.
After the break, see why experts believe now is the time to book your holiday travel tickets.
And we're getting warmer out there, but do any rain chances lie ahead? Your forecast is coming up.
Now, for a limited time at Home Furniture, you can get a king-sized bedroom suite for the price of a queen. Like this king bedroom suite, now just $18.99. Plus 6-year special financing with no money down and no minimum purchase. King comfort, queen price at Home Furniture.
I'm Dr. Beth Bruning of Bruning Eye Specialists in Sioux City and Dakota Dunes. Working with our dedicated and caring staff, I've had the joy and privilege of caring for Siouxlanders' eyes for nearly 30 years. I have performed over 50,000 cataract, LASIK, eyelid, and other surgeries. We love helping people see better. Come see us at Bruning Eye, your best choice for your best vision.
Bruning Eye Specialists.
Clausen's in Lamars, Iowa can meet all your clothing needs. Here at Clausen's, we offer an individualized shopping experience. Owner Terry is here to help you find whatever you need, whether it's business attire, sportswear, women's clothing, custom suits, and shoes. We carry the brands you know and love, like Task, 34 Heritage, Tommy Bahama, Tribal, Jag, 7 Diamonds, and many more. Stop by Clausen's on the corner in downtown Lamars or give us a call and let us help you find your new favorite style today.
During the Labor Day sale at Home Sleep Express, get up to $700 off Tempur-Pedic adjustable mattress sets, plus a $300 home shopping card with free delivery, setup, and a 120-night guarantee. The Tempur-Pedic Labor Day sale at Home Sleep Express.
I'm Ron DeMars, and we need your photos for the 2023 KTIV Around Siouxland calendar. Your outstanding photo could be featured in one of 12 months in next year's calendar. Send us your shots of landmarks and beautiful scenes of Siouxland to photos@ktiv.com. Entry deadline is September 15th. We are looking for 12 photos that capture the beauty of Siouxland and why it's such a great place to live. The 2023 KTIV Around Siouxland calendar coming soon from KTIV, Siouxland's news channel.
Live from Signal Hill, you're watching News 4 at 10 with Matt Breen, Stella Daskalakis, and Chief Meteorologist Ron DeMars on KTIV, Siouxland's news channel.
Welcome back, everyone. The airline industry is still recovering from a chaotic summer travel season, with some people still taking vacations to sunny destinations. But some travel industry leaders say now is the time to book your holiday travel. Jen Sullivan has more in today's Consumer Watch.
It's August, and while some people are still enjoying summer vacations, some travel experts say it's time to book your fall and winter holiday flights.
We are right in that Goldilocks window, and that's why we're seeing so many great deals.
Scott Kays, founder of travel site Scott's Cheap Flights, says you can score hard-to-find deals now for your winter holiday trips.
Everybody else is thinking about summer travel, Labor Day travel, and that's why now is the time when you actually do see some of those cheap holiday flights pop up.
And some experts say there's reason to be optimistic when it comes to the cost of airfare. According to the latest Consumer Price Index, average airline fares fell sharply in July compared to June, nearly 8%.
I think there's reason to suspect that it's going to continue to fall further, in large part because the summer wave, when travel is at its peak, is largely behind us now.
He also says if you already know where you're traveling to, do your research and track flight prices to get alerts when there's a price drop. And keep in mind that prices could soar the longer you wait.
Just in the same way that winter jackets are going to be cheapest if you purchase them in the summer, so too with those winter holiday flights. Always book opposite season.
And if you're looking to do something completely different this year, Kay says one of the biggest deals you can find is during Thanksgiving week, if you fly international.
It's actually a low season, the end of November, so you might actually pay the same price to fly to Buffalo as you pay to fly to Barcelona.
For today's Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
Man's best friend may be more like man than we know. New research from Japanese scientists suggests a dog's eyes may well up with tears of happiness when reunited with their owners after an absence. Dogs, like humans, have tear ducts that produce tears to keep their eyes clean and healthy, but tears in dogs had not been linked with emotion before this study. To investigate the link, researchers measured the amount of tears among 18 dogs with a standard test. It involved a paper strip placed inside the eyelids of the dogs for a minute before and after they were reunited with their owners after 5 to 7 hours of separation. They did the same test when dogs were reintroduced to people they knew. The amount of tears only increased during reunions with their owners.
Now we're suddenly on a little bit of an upward trend temperature-wise, as today western Siouxland got into the 90s. I think more of us might be able to do that by tomorrow. So let's head outside on a decent evening, although there's a little more humidity in the air, and you can just kind of tell it when you step outside. This is our Norfolk cam. All of our weather is perfectly quiet out there, not even much of a wind, and you can see that from the water on our Okoboji cam tonight. And right here in Sioux City, our Blackbird Bend Casino cam has us down to 70 degrees, but the dew point is at 64. That's not going to allow our temperatures to get as cool tonight as the 50s that we've enjoyed over the past 2 mornings. We had quiet weather today, just a few clouds bubbled up for a while, but off to the northwest, notice a few showers, a couple thunderstorms actually going on there too in north central South Dakota right now. That little area is going to head its way off to the southeast and maybe give parts of northeastern Siouxland a slight chance of a shower early tomorrow. In case you didn't hear it, down south, it was a day of rain. As a matter of fact, places like Dallas last night into early today got as much as 8 inches of rain in just a 3-hour time period. So flash flooding was very much happening in some locations down there. And the system's not done. It's making its way onto the east, so other parts of the southeast are now going to get in on some pretty heavy rains during the day tomorrow, and for that matter, later on tonight, too. High temperatures here in the Midwest beginning to heat back up. 100 in Pierre today, Rapid City at 97, and Billings 93. So some of that warmer weather is making its way eastward, so get ready, especially in western Siouxland. You're going to be warmer tomorrow. We'll all be warmer, but it's going to be the western side of our viewing area that has the best chance of seeing those low to mid 90s. Currently outside, though, it's not bad temperature-wise. We're mostly in the 60s off in southeastern Siouxland. In Wayne right now, 70. O'Neill, you're staying a little bit warmer. 76. Your dew point is actually lower out there at 56 degrees, but most of the rest of us dealing with dew points in the low to mid 60s right now with, again, not much of a wind out there. It's out of the south to southeast, mostly at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. All right, things will change a little bit here. Watch your Storm Team 4 future track. By tomorrow morning, a few of those clouds move in. Maybe a slight chance of seeing a shower very early in the morning in our northeastern counties. Otherwise, partly cloudy for most of the day. By late in the afternoon, maybe a small chance of a shower either to the north. I think our better chance, if anything is going to happen, will be out here, where maybe a little thunder shower is able to bubble up over portions of Holt County, for example. This will not be any heavy rain by any means, but boy, last Monday, you remember, it was just 1 week ago that we had over 2 inches of rain here at KTIV. And that made a dent on that drought monitor last week. In case you didn't see it coming out on August 18th, there was a severe drought now over Sioux City instead of the extreme drought. As a matter of fact, here's the way it looked back on August 11th. So you can see we had those nice heavy rains right through here, and yes, it did have an impact on the drought monitor for us. As for our Weather Watcher highs, Pocahontas, Cherokee, and Spencer, you all made it to 82 degrees, whereas out to the west, here was that warmer weather I was telling you about. Wayne, 88, Neely, 91, and out in O'Neill today, 92 degrees. Our low this morning in Sioux City was pleasant at 57. Then we topped out above average as we got up to 87 degrees. So partly cloudy tonight, not quite as cool as what we have been seeing. Low temperatures near 60 degrees. Highs tomorrow mostly in the upper 80s in northwest Iowa, but low 90s possible across Nebraska and South Dakota. A small chance of a morning shower in northeastern Siouxland and maybe a late day shower, especially in the western parts of our viewing area. And then tomorrow night, lows dipping into the mid 60s. I said thunder showers could become a possibility, maybe especially late Wednesday. Wednesday's high about 88 degrees. Thursday and Friday looking a little bit cooler in the low 80s. Then some chances of storms arrive again by Friday night. Through the day Saturday, maybe some chances of showers on Sunday as well. Highs over the weekend mostly in the low to mid 80s, and then looking at highs closer to 80 degrees on Tuesday and Wednesday.
You know, August going into September is one of my favorite times of the year.
Yeah, I always enjoy hitting those cooler stretches. We're starting to feel that a little bit in the mornings, but we'll keep feeling it more and more, I promise.
All right, thank you, Ron.
Yes.
A Kansas company has found a new way to eliminate chemicals in farming. Greenfield Robotics has created robots that can help weed and mow crop fields. Maeve Ashbrook explains how it works.
While it's not necessarily classic Kansas farming, it's still an idea that developers hope will help feed the world.
I'm not going to say they're perfect yet. If we can begin to eliminate chemicals or cut the use of them and take that money and spend on robots or some other way to help control weeds, that sounds good.
Clint Brower is the farming founder of Greenfield Robotics and the choreographer of this mechanical dance up and down rows of soybeans.
It always starts with something practical, and so this is the most practical thing I could think of to start.
With help from engineers, Brower created these robots. They're part of his larger effort to eliminate chemicals from farming.
When their crop comes up, they normally have to go in and spray chemicals. And so they spray them through the whole field. These robots actually go and eliminate most of that need between the rows.
The robots do so by going plant to plant, weeding and mowing crops like in this soybean field and this sunflower field, keeping the weeds from growing in the first place. It's already got a growing customer base, from Tanya Martisco, who uses the robots to maintain the maize used in an annual 5K race.
It's saved us a ton of time, manpower, which we just were lacking on all of that this summer.
To farmer Tori Ball, who's gotten pretty used to the roaming antennas, even if they don't always go exactly where he'd like.
Last year they had some hiccups.
That's why someone is always watching, just steps away inside this rig, making sure every robot's programmed route runs smoothly.
I'm still a nervous wreck when I come out and watch these things going down the road.
And I would guess by next year, if they improve by the amount they did from last year to this year, and then to next year, I'm guessing they'll be doing a very good job.
Very cool. Well, an Iowa couple is moving ahead with their future together. Nick Buckton proposed to his girlfriend, Mackenzie Berger, in front of the legendary butter cow sculpture at the Iowa State Fair. She said yes. A photo of the moment was posted with a caption of, "You better believe I want to spend the rest of my life with you." While it may not be as romantic as, say, the Eiffel Tower in Paris, getting engaged inside a cooler with a 600-pound butter sculpture is unique. The butter cow sculpture has been part of the Iowa State Fair since 1911. I think that's actually kind of romantic. Why not?
That's pretty cool. Why not?
It's
definitely one of the most Iowan things I've ever seen. That's for sure.
We were talking about that. Jason Mueller here with sports, and the Sioux City Explorers are trying to bounce back tonight.
Yeah, that's right, Stella. And they get 2 chances to do it, too. 2 games is better than 1, so the X's and Canaries duked it out in an I-29 rivalry doubleheader. Highlights from Game 1 next on Sports Sports. Plus, take a look at the 2 Hawkeyes and 1 Cyclone who made the Associated Press's All-American team next on Sports Sports.
The experts of CNOS, proud sponsor of Health Beat 4.
Value menus at other places are like a cheaper, smaller, meh-er version of their regular menu. But not Taco John's new Valuist menu, because on top of being just as premium as our main menu, everything's only $1, $2, and $3. Now try our biggest taco ever, the Grande Beef Taco, for just $3. and our new mini fried chicken taco for just $2. Just look at all these delicious deals. Guess that's why ours is called the Valuist Menu, and theirs isn't.
The new Valuist Menu, only at Taco John's. Bigger, bolder, better.
Where to go and what to do in Birmingham, Alabama. Personalized just for you. Find your sweet spots at alabama.travel/sweetspot.
At MidAmerican Energy, we're on a mission
to reach net zero greenhouse gas emissions by 2050. How will we do it?
For starters, by delivering 100% renewable energy to our customers.
Also, by investing in more wind and solar energy, and by exploring new technologies and solutions.
Meeting our net zero goal while still delivering reliable, safe, and affordable energy.
It's just another way we're obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Howdy, folks. Fairway is cooking up some great savings just for you.
USDA Choice Beef Boneless Chuck Roast is just $3.99 a pound. Stella Bella Green Seedless Grapes are only $1.88 a pound. Fairway Pasta Sauce is just 98 cents. Healthy Choice Cafe Steamers are 4 for only $8.88. Powerade is buy 5, get 5 free. Check out this week's produce ad for farm fresh, locally grown items. Fresh, affordable, Fairway.
To everyone who loves great food, let us make you a meal the Wisconsin way.
We cook each butter burger to order for you and the people you love, so it's the best part of your day.
The best.
The best.
And every creamy scoop of fresh frozen custard, pure happiness.
Pure happiness.
Pure happiness. Because where Culver's comes from.
And the heart of America's Dairyland.
Our love.
Our love for fresh food is as strong as our love for all of you.
From Wisconsin with love.
Welcome to Delicious.
Tonight, Jimmy has Mark Wahlberg with a race against time.
I got one. I got one, too.
Plus, Billy Porter, AJR performs, and thank you notes.
Thank you. Climbing onto an inflatable pool float for basically being an aquatic sobriety test.
Tonight.
On our next show, the summer edition of our up-and-coming fashion designer series, we'll meet our second designer. Then how he went from homeless to one of the youngest chess masters in the country, all on the next Tamron Hall.
Tomorrow at 11 on KTIV.
Welcome back, folks. After falling to Winnipeg to wrap up their series, the Sioux City Explorers lead the Lincoln Salt Dogs by just a half game. Good news, Lincoln doesn't play today. Possibly better news, the X's have a doubleheader against the cellar-dwelling Sioux Falls Canaries. So to Sioux Falls we go for a doubleheader edition of the I-29 rivalry. You're catching the highlights from game one here. X's string together a two-out rally. Adamar Rifiala laces a single the other way. Sioux City scores 4 runs in the first inning. Later on, Sioux Falls trying to answer in their half of the inning, getting a man on, but Pat Leday stops that one cold. Here's one of his 7 strikeouts, and the X's offense just kept pouring it on. Here we are in the second inning. Jack Kelly just demolishes this ball to left field, and the X's win 8-2. Down to Kansas City, the Royals hosting the White Sox. Pick up in the bottom of the first, shifts on, but Salvador Perez beats it. Look at this. Sends a ground ball to the right side of second, into the outfield. It goes, in comes a run, and it's 1-0 Royals. Later on, bases loaded, still in the bottom of the first. Michael Massey hammers this ball. It's deep down the right field line. He misses a home run by a couple feet. Only 1 run comes in, though, and it's 2-0 Royals. Still in the first, Ryan O'Hearn pulls a liner between first and second. Vinny Pasquantino comes in from third to score, and the Royals use the big first inning to win 6-4. The Associated Press announced its preseason All-American team Monday morning. Although the list was filled with Alabama and Ohio State players, some Hawkeyes and a Cyclone earned their spot on the list. We'll start with the lone Cyclone, who is Will McDonald IV. The senior has racked up an Iowa State record 29 sacks in his career And last season, he broke his own record, recording 11.5 sacks throughout the season. Also making the first team is Jack Campbell. Campbell, a linebacker, led the Hawkeyes in tackles last season with 143. He also intercepted 2 passes while coming up with a sack and a forced fumble for the Swarm. And wrapping up the area players on first team is Iowa defensive back Riley Moss. This comes as no surprise, as Moss was an All-American last season alongside his Tatum Woodson Big Ten Defensive Back of the Year award. He earned the honors by making 39 tackles and snagging 4 interceptions in just 11 games. The Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union released its preseason top 15 polls for the upcoming season. Let's check it out and see what Siouxland squads made the cut. We'll start off with the big schools in 5A, where our highest-ranked Siouxland squad is 13th ranked Sioux City North. The top spot in 5A, by the way, Iowa City Liberty. Down to 4A, where Bishop Heelan is ranked in the 2nd spot, and they're our lone ranked representative. In first is Marion after they posted a 37-9 record last season. Into Class 3A now, where Sioux Center cracks the top 5, taking the 5th spot. Just behind them in 6th is Unity Christian, and rounding out the Siouxland squads in the rankings is Sheldon. Top of Class 3A belongs to Mount Vernon. Down to 2A we go, and it would be weird not to see the Western Christian Wolfpack on this list. The Wolfpack find themselves in at number 2 in the polls. Also ranked in the top 15, the Hinton Blackhawks, who are looking to get even better after their 20-8 season last year. And to the small schools in Class 1A, where once again we find ourselves with a lonely Siouxland representative in Galen Catholic. The Jays were ranked 7th in the preseason polls. So
we'll see if it turns out that way.
We'll see. Hopefully it does.
Yeah. Thanks for all of that. We'll be right back.
It's Terrific Tuesdays at Hy-Vee. This Tuesday, 24 packs of Pepsi products, only $5.99. And Hy-Vee cheese singles, only $1.99, while supplies last. Tuesday only. And visit HyVeeDeals.com for even more deals.
Change it up and choose Dutch Boy from Menards. Get the best quality Dutch Boy paints at the best prices. Pick out the perfect color. We offer free custom color matching and tinting to create thousands of color options. And with Dutch Boy's easy opening, smooth pouring container, and no prep, no prime formula, transforming your home has never been easier. Save 11% on all Dutch Boy paints now at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
The mission of Drilling Pharmacy and its staff is to provide to the community. The Drilling Pharmacy gift shop offers some of the best selection of retail therapy in Sioux City. We are constantly adding seasonal and feel-good items to our shelves for the enjoyment of our customers. We have a fun selection of purses, jewelry, floral items, and unique home decor. Stop in today.
Drilling Pharmacy.
Gourmet truffles, chocolate-covered peanut clusters, rich chocolate fudge. The classics are classic for a reason. Hallmark Candy has all the classics you crave in bulk, and we have a few classics of our own, like Twin Bings and our famous holiday gift baskets. When you want something delicious, reach for a classic.
Stop at Palmer's Old Time Candy Shop. It's a Siouxland classic.
Be ready when severe weather strikes.
Lightning has been detected in your area.
Get weather alerts and track approaching storms on the KTIV Storm Team 4 weather app. Download now. Brought to you by Fibercom.
It's Terrific Tuesdays at Hy-Vee. This Tuesday, Blue Bunny ice cream, only $2.88. And Gala apples, only 88 cents a pound, while supplies last. Tuesday only. And visit HyVeeDeals.com for even more deals.
Seeing double. Tuesday morning, a woman in Arkansas has her hands full with a new litter. And the Nebraska Huskers are heading to Ireland. We have a look at what it takes to get all their gear overseas.
And we have warmer temperatures and a chance for rain as we head towards the rest of the week. I have more on News 4 today.
KTIV's exclusive camera network gives you the best view in Siouxland. The KTIV Spencer Cam, brought to you by Spencer Municipal Utilities. Closed captioning is provided by Sparklight.
A little bit warmer yet again tomorrow. Highs in the upper 80s in eastern Siouxland, low 90s to the west. Just a slight chance of a shower both early and late in the day.
Okay, thank you. You have a score for us.
Yeah, X's lose game 2, 1-0 to the Canaries, so they're still a half game ahead of Lincoln.
Okay, thank you very much for that update. Thanks to all of you for joining us tonight. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Have a good evening.